Hello, my name is Mario. Welcome to another Software Architecture in Go video. In today's episode, I'm sharing with you the anti-corruption layer pattern with an example in Go. The anti-corruption pattern was first introduced by Eric Evans in his book Domain-Driven Design back in 2003. It is described as an isolation layer created to consume values from other systems, acting as a translation layer in both directions between our downstream model and the external upstream model. This layer allows our system to interact with another one without being affected or corrupted by their design, keeping our system completely isolated from foreign concepts. The anti-corruption layer pattern is typically implemented using a combination of the facade and adapted design patterns. Let's look at the code and see how this is implemented in Go. As usual, the link to this code will be in the description of this video, so feel free to check that out. Before I show you the actual implementation of the anti-corruption layer pattern, let me show you what I have right here. So I implemented a few packages in this example, and the idea of this use case is that we're going to be hypothetically accessing some third-party APIs, some legacy APIs that give us values in temperature in the context of Kelvin and Fahrenheit, and we're going to be converting those values to Celsius. So that's what we're trying to build right here. The first one is Fahrenheit, and if you notice, we have this sort of constructor that returns a struct type, an instantiation of a struct type, and also we have right here another type that returns the value that we need in this case. Now, assume this is something that you will be using for interacting with a third-party API or maybe a legacy API that you are having to connect to that API and get those values from. And recall, the idea of this pattern is to take the values that we're getting from an external system and convert those into something that we have and we can use for our own system. The other one will be Kelvin. So Kelvin is a little bit more simpler. You notice there's only a function right here, instead of the other one that is a bit more complicated, that it has like a constructor and then a method for that specific type that is being returned in the function. Now, with that being said, if we open up the example, it's pretty simple. We have a code to those two methods. Hypothetically, we're passing in some country values, so we're getting values from those subsystems, and those values are coming again from those subsystems. They are doing their own thing, third-party APIs, legacy systems, and we're getting those back. The idea is that we want to convert those from Kelvin and Fahrenheit into Celsius, and this is where the anti-corruption pattern comes into place. So if we run this, you will notice that there is really nothing interesting. It's just outputting what we defined previously, the values that are literally hard-coded in the implementation that we have at the moment. So we have the 85.5, and if we go to the second one, you will notice that we have 306.15. This is where, again, the anti-corruption layer pattern comes into place. If we open up the anti-corruption the anti-corruption package, specifically the anti-corruption file, you will notice that there are a few functions that I have here just for the sake of simplicity. So in order for this to work, we're going to be calling the Kelvin.calculate country minus 273.15. So that's how you calculate or convert from Kelvin to Celsius. Next will be Celsius. So for that one will be, or rather Fahrenheit. So Fahrenheit will be Fahrenheit, and then new, and then value. So new receives country, and then following what we have above, we can calculate the value that we're expecting. So we have to do 5.0 divided by 9.0, which is that formula, times Fahrenheit minus 32. So everything is fine. Now what we have to do next is take that and code in the main package. So we can call anti-corruption dot Fahrenheit, let's call it country 1, and then we can do something similar and called Kelvin country 2. If we run this again, you will notice that now the values are converted from what they were originally, which were Kelvin and Fahrenheit, into what they are now, into Celsius. Now you might be thinking, well, this is really simple, and that's the whole point. I'm not trying to overcomplicate and share with you some crazy idea of design patterns in Go. This is literally what you have to do when implementing the anti-corruption layer pattern. You isolate what you're trying to implement that is coming from a third-party service. You convert that into something that is applicable to your domain, and you use it. That's basically what it is. And that's it. This is the anti-corruption layer pattern. It's typically easy to implement in Go, and you have to keep in mind that the idea of implementing this layer is to basically separate those two domains, your domain and the domain that is coming from the third-party API, a legacy system, or whatever the case may be. So you keep those separated, and those don't corrupt what you have already implemented on your site. Thank you for watching, and I will talk to you next time. Take care, stay safe, see you.